6181, otherwise known as Law Enforcement Officer Screening, Discipline, and Decertification. This is a bill that is focused on what we call a POST board, which stands for Police Officer Standards and Training. My understanding after working with and talking to the Rhode Island Chiefs Association is that there exists some version of a POST board now. What this bill would help do is codify what the post is, who makes it up. There would be 15 positions on this task force, 7 of which would be made by police officers, 7 would be civilian, and 1 attorney general. And the purpose of having this board, the post board, is to make sure there is consistency throughout the state for police officers as far as their training, as far as screening, as far as discipline. And so we've seen a lot of examples in which we'll have an incident in one part of the state, and that police officer may or may not be reprimanded. They're going to go work in another part of the state. And so this bill, if I could reduce it to one word, would be consistency throughout the entirety of the state.
Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, Lenny, you come forward, both of you. Welcome. Len, do you want to go first and then introduce your expert?
Sure. Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Leonard Lopes. I'm with...
Is that, I don't think it's on.
It's red. Maybe I'll speak a little louder. There we go. Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Leonard Lopes, and I'm here with Seema Sadanandan, but I may have just butchered her name, so she will say it again on this very important piece of legislation. I want to also thank Representative Batista for his leadership on this issue. I know we spoke to several people in this room about this bill, and we're going to submit and work with those folks and work through some language on the bill in the coming weeks ahead. But I just wanted to thank, first and foremost, you, Representative, for your leadership on this issue, and look forward to members of the committee to talk about this bill. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Seema, who's the expert in this area, and she can take it from here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hang on, before we do that, Mr. Lopes, are you testifying in favor or against?
Sorry. Strongly in favor.
All right.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Chairman Craven, members of the committee, and to Representative Batista for your leadership on this issue. My name is Seema Sadanandan. I'm an attorney, and I'm here on behalf of Arnold Ventures. Arnold Ventures is a philanthropic organization that advances data-driven policy to make communities in America safer. We are among the largest criminal justice reform funders in the country. We are here today to testify in strong support of HB 6181. And what 6181 would do is it would expand the authority of the post, a state agency, so that it could both certify and, in instances of sustained serious misconduct by a law enforcement officer, decertify a law enforcement officer. We at Arnold Ventures are particularly sensitive and supportive to what law enforcement in Rhode Island and in this country do for our community. Our communities place a tremendous amount of trust in law enforcement, and we ask law enforcement to enter into difficult situations, into emergencies, to walk straight into crisis, and sometimes dangerous situations. We believe that 6181 will improve policing and public confidence in law enforcement. Before I discuss 6181, I want to acknowledge that much of this evening's discussion will be on LEOBOR. And Arnold Ventures strongly supports a reform to LEOBOR. In fact, Rhode Island is the only state in New England that has a law enforcement Bill of Rights. Most states in the country do not have a law enforcement Bill of Rights. We support removing any special protections that make it difficult, if not impossible, for chiefs to discipline officers in the case of serious misconduct. So the debate about LEOBOR really outlines fair discipline in the context of a local law enforcement agency. But 6181 offers a process that is related but separate. It's a process for a state agency to certify and in certain circumstances to revoke a certification of a law enforcement officer. In most states around the country, the post has this authority. Right now, it is my understanding, and based on some of the conversations that we've had, that Rhode Island chiefs, by matter of policy, do collaborate in instances where there is a finding of serious misconduct and share information. And we believe that process should be codified within a state agency, a process that is uniform and fair to engender public trust. Ultimately, public safety is a partnership. It's a partnership between law enforcement and communities and absolutely requires mutual trust. Other similarly situated public sector employees like nurses and teachers also have a statewide certification regime that's separate from their employer discipline process. In the legal profession, for example, if you are a lawyer and you work at a firm and say you embezzle funds from a client, your employer can suspend you or fire you, but the state bar can revoke your actual license. Every single state in the entire country has a decertification regime, with the exception of Rhode Island and Hawaii. In each of these states, there's a statewide agency that's authorized to both certify and to revoke certification in certain cases. Decertification, as a process laid out, is protective of due process. And in New Jersey, when they moved to authorize the post to have the authority to decertify, it was supported by the largest law enforcement union in the State Troopers Association. And the president of that union made a statement in support and said that this decertification regime was common sense reform. We believe that 6181 is both common sense and long overdue. Thank you so much for this time and for accommodating us, and welcome any questions you might have.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you.